Hello plant people, Nora the Leca Queen here. You know I love Hoyas. I know you love Hoyas. I'm going to be taking a look at some of the Hoyas that I'm absolutely loving at the moment. And if you stick around, I'm going to show you my Hoya Crimson Princess that's living on a moss pole. You don't want to miss that. This is the Hoya incrustata Moonshadow. I absolutely love this Hoya. This is a new plant in my collection. I recently just got it and I just recently potted it up as well. So not too much has happened since it's been in my care, but oh my gosh, I am absolutely loving the color of those leaves with that little variegation going on there. It's got the almost gray leaves and the variegation. Oh, shucks, I had no choice but to buy this one. Seriously, it looks so beautiful. And I love this little pot that I put it in. I think it really complements the color very well. I can't wait for it to grow because I think this one's gonna be a stunner. Next up is one of my gorgeous babies. This is my Hoya erythrina, and it's called erythrina taken from the Greek word erythros, I think, meaning red. And look at that, people. We have some sun stressing up in here. Yes. This plant is becoming red. I love it. But this one is actually becoming red on the other side, which, you know, it's okay. I'll take it. I'll take anything. But I'm loving that. It's really starting to go now. I think this new vine wasn't there the last time I showed you this plant. It's growing really well. I've just given it a trellis, helping it to climb, and I'm really hoping that now that it's living in my grow tent, it's getting a lot more light than it used to, and I think that's probably why that sun stressing is coming. So I'm really happy to see that happening. So excited. This is my Hoya erythrina. One of the things I love the most about this plant actually is when you look at the shape. Just looking at the shape of the leaves, it's got everything. It's got like texture. It's got a little bit of texture to it. It's got the shape of the leaves being a little bit irregular, not quite straight, which is lovely. And then you've got the veins. You can see those veins there that look fantastic, just awesome. This plant has everything. It has absolutely everything, and I cannot wait for the day it's so luscious and big and it's all just bright red. Can't wait. This is my Hoya erythrina. Well, next up is this not so tiny baby. Oh, my absolute pride and joy. This is the Hoya kerrii, the sweetheart plant, the Valentine's Day plant, whatever you want to call it. The shape of those leaves, heart-shaped, and they are thick and as waxy as a wax plant should be. But what's really fascinating about my specimen is look at those area roots. It's just really gone crazy. And it did that when a few years ago I had it in a grow tent and it was lovely and humid, and the Hoya area roots just thrived and went crazy. They're not doing so much now because of course I took the plant out of the grow tent and it was just, you know, normal atmospheric room temperature. But you know, it's just still a fascinating feature that it still retains, but the growth on that is fantastic. She's in a 14 centimeter pot, and you can see there those roots are absolutely loving it. They're doing really well. And I think this plant can't wait for spring, because I think come springtime, she might even give me a flower or two. I don't know, I'm hoping. Here's to hoping for your Hoya to flower. Do you guys know what I mean? I know you know what I mean. But that is my Hoya kerrii looking really lovely. This is my Hoya polyneura. Look at that. I got this plant, it was really tiny. I think this yellow leaves there, that's part of the original plant. It was really quite small, but I love how it's now really starting to take shape. And look at the shape of those leaves and just the color. The color is really, it's a deep green, and those veins are really popping. The thing I don't like about this plant at the moment is that there's that vine, and then there's just this very long one, and I think that's starting to separate there. There's two there. So I'm thinking she needs a chop. I'm gonna give her a chop. I'm gonna propagate and put back into this pot because I want her to be an absolutely luscious Polyneura. So at some point, I think I am going to take some cuttings from this and just make it absolutely magnificent. But you know what I would really, really love? I have seen those variegated Polyneuras. I think Kevin of Hakuna La Planta has one, and oh my gosh, I just turn absolutely green when I see it. Can you imagine this variegated? It just looks absolutely beautiful. I don't have a wish list, but that plant is on my wish list that I don't have. So if anybody is thinking of gifting me anything, a variegated Polyneura would not go amiss. I know we've been talking about variegation, but I love a splashy Hoya. You know I love a splashy Hoya. And this is one of my absolute most favorite splashy Hoyas. This is the Hoya Matildis Splash. Oh, I am loving this plant. This plant is really loving life. They are growth points everywhere, little new leaves. This plant is telling me that spring is about to spring. The splashiness, the splashiness is insane. Living in her 14 centimeter pot, which is actually dry right now. I should do something about that. But, you know, I think she forgives me. She loves me. She is just beautiful. That is my Hoya Matildis Splash, doing her splashy thing. Look at that. That's just a new vine with some teeny tiny new leaves over there. And oh, look, there's more over there. It's just really, it's understood the assignment. It's doing what it needs to do. I love her, my Hoya Matildis Splash. Well, not to be forgotten in the splash department is my Hoya Snowball Splash. Look at the size of those thick leaves. Oh, with that splashiness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. When I got this plant, it was actually quite tiny. It was actually quite small, but look at her now. She's got a trellis. She is growing. She is vining and just being as magnificent as only a Hoya can be. Tiny new leaves over there looking magnificent. But enough about splashes. Let us go to some deep variegation. Woo! This is my Hoya Susie Q. My gosh, this plant, when I got her, she was tiny as. And back then it was really hard to find a Susie Q. And I have to say it was actually quite expensive. It was quite expensive to buy when I think about it now. But I got her and look at her now. She is absolutely glorious. And she's got those leaves where, I mean, the leaves are like pink. They're just literally white and pink, nothing else. Hang on, let me see if I can show you this one. The leaves are just pink. It just looks so good, so good. It just, oh my goodness. The only thing that could make this more complete for me is if it flowered. But even if it doesn't, whatever, I don't care. I just need more and more leaves. More leaves is what I need. And just look at her. She is in a 14 centimeter pot. That's her over there. She's living in my Italian leca. Loving it, loving it. Hoya Susie Q. You know, Hoyas aren't just about splashiness and variegation. Hoyas are also very much about the leaf, the shape of the leaf, the size of the leaf, and nothing does leaves better than Hoya. I'm telling you that right now. This is my Hoya Fusco Marginata. Look at that leaf. It is huge and it's got that almost purple edging right at the edge of the leaves there. It looks absolutely fantastic. This one has got those little dots. I think she's wanting to start sun stressing. Fingers crossed she's going to change color and look even more fantastic. This is one of the Hoyas that I actually transitioned from soil to leca by taking all the roots off. If you haven't seen that video, just click on the link above and that will take you straight to it. So when I was putting it in leca, I took all the roots off, but look at her now. There's roots everywhere, and this plant did not lose a leaf and did not skip a beat. She's beautiful. I love this Hoya fusca marginata. I think I will need to give her a trellis pretty soon because she is vining like crazy. There's just vines everywhere, and yeah, loving it. Talking about vines, talking about a plant vining everywhere. Ha! That is, oh my goodness. That is my Hoya obovata splash. That is her, Hoya obovata splash. I probably need to tie this down on the trellis somehow. I need to do that because she's wild. She's growing everywhere. I love this plant. It's absolutely beautiful. It's actually, this plant has like one of my favorite leaves on a Hoya ever. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, that one. This one over here. This is my favorite leaf on any of my Hoyas. It's just perfect. It's perfect and it's splashy, it's cylindrical. This is another one that's just got crazy air roots all over the place. It's just crazy. But of course they're dry now because they're not as humid as they used to be when it was living in my grow tent, but it doesn't need them, so it's fine. That's my plant there, looking absolutely glorious in its leca, loving life. Another one of my favorites. This is my Hoya australis lisa. Oh, I love this little baby. This plant, I think I've got an interesting love-hate relationship with it because I wanted this plant so bad. I'd never wanted a plant as badly as I wanted this one. I wanted this plant so badly, I spent a crazy amount that I don't even want to think of now because this plant is everywhere now. You go into any Bunnings, into any store has got the Hoya australis lisa. It's just insane, but it's fine, whatever. You know, I got my plant. It's the one I wanted and it's really growing well now. Look at that one. That's just one there. I need to attach that to the trellis somehow. Yeah, I'm gonna have to rejig this whole thing. I'll probably have to repot it and just fix the trellis. It looks weird. But I love her. She's growing so well, and that variegation looks amazing. It looks really, really good. And I think this plant is really going to be a fantastic showstopper in my collection. Last but not least is my Hoya Crimson Princess on a moss pole. A lot of people ask me about this plant all the time, wanting updates about it all the time. It's a Hoya. It can be slow growing, so there's not too much happening. There've been some new leaves and I think it's doing really well. I've actually wound it around the moss pole a few times since I put it up there. Not much happening in the, area root attaching to the moss pole department. Not that I can see anyway. I mean, I think for me to actually be able to tell, I'd need to pull it apart, which I don't want to do. So I'm happy for it to just do its thing and it's really looking pretty. I think it's loving it. So yeah, it's fine. That is my Hoya Crimson Princess living on a moss pole. Now check out this next video where I showcase some of the splashy Hoyas that I have in my collection. I'll see you there.